The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. What up, though, y'all? It's your boy E-Buck in the building. What's going on? This is the I Am Nighthawk Podcast. So why I got the wrong background up, I don't know. Let me see if we can get that fixed for us right quick. What is going on, good people? I am so happy to be talking to y'all this evening. It is raining pretty hard right now here in the city that I call Detroit for some strange reason or rationale that I don't understand. Wasn't supposed to get any rain till tomorrow, but basically when it's very extra warm outside, the quick pop-up storms tend to happen. So hopefully it doesn't cause any technical difficulties and we can get the show in nice and proper light. In the meanwhile, what is going on? Hopefully y'all had a very good holiday weekend. Basically I was busy working. You know what it is. You got to do what you got to do to get things done, right? We are going to talk today. Just a couple items up for bid this evening on the I Am Nighthawk Podcast. The podcast to discuss the things that I think about while many of you sleep that I think we should talk about later on. So thusly, here it is. As you see, I got the fan going. We had a nice 90 plus degree day. So it is kind of warm in the studio. Air conditioning and things aside. So hopefully that ain't too distracting for y'all. Matter of fact, let me see if I can kind of do something like that with it, get it on out the way a little better. Nonetheless, people, we are going to talk. We got to talk about what is going on in this country called America in regards to our political cycle. Yes, we're going to have that discussion. I know you're saying it's not time to vote and stuff yet, but see, here's part of the problem, people. We oftentimes wait to the last minute to see what the choices are, and then we go at that point with whatever is available. Now, let's get into it, shall we? As you know, right now, currently our president is one Joseph Biden. He is 80, I believe, about to be 81 years of age, if I remember correctly. He appears to be doing okay in terms of his health. However, at 81, he is looking very much 81 to me. We've recently had issues with some of our other older statesmen in the Senate, that being Ms. Feinstein and also the Republican leader, Mr. Mitch McConnell. They've had some health issues that have concerned us. We now are in the process of going through the Republican primary season. Keeping in mind that on the Democratic side, we have the president, and basically, usually when you are an incumbent president, we don't really go through the process. Problem one. Yes, this is problem one. Understand that in life, sometimes difficult choices have to be made, and in life, sometimes they give us no choices. That is part of what the problem is. Many of the polls that are constantly taken suggest that the vast majority of us do not approve of the current president, much like the vast majority of us did not approve of the previous president oftentimes. We're talking over 60% in both cases for the most part. Why is that? It's because we feel these leaders that we currently have or presently have are not representing us to the level of which we would like. Okay? Say what you would about President Obama, his approval rating far better than either of these two current and previous presidents. Okay? He basically did not have you thinking, Lord, what the hell is going to happen next? As I often do with Mr. Biden, as I often did with the previous president, of which name we know we're not going with. What up, though, Big Easy? What's going on, my people? Thank y'all for checking in. I appreciate it. We are talking political season, the early political season, man. And again, I feel part of the problem is that right now on the Democratic side, we don't have a choice and we need to. Because overall, I feel Biden is not doing the job that I felt he would be able to attempt to do. I am not completely pleased with the current administration. I like it better than the previous administration, mind you, but still not feeling overly confident with either. And as we are currently set up, on the one hand, on the Democratic side, there will be no choice. It's either Biden or bust. He is not doing anything. I concur. I pretty much feel like, in terms of Biden, he is pretty much spin his load, so to speak. The things that he was able to do when the Democrats were in control of Congress, he basically passed through the best way he could. Now that the Republicans have taken over the House, his influence on them is nil. They are more concerned, it seems like, with trying to figure out a way to get him out of office, much like the situation became with the previous president. Bottom line is, like I said, I'm not pleased. I feel like a lot of things that were promised and were expected from him, we have not seen, we will not see. He is unable to make happen. That being said, we now look on the other side of the coin, where currently in the Republican Party, the overwhelming favorite to get the nomination is, yep, that guy, the clown orange pimp himself, the previous president. Y'all know his name. As y'all know how I feel about him, I choose not to say his name on the air at all. Giving him name gives him a respect that I do not have for that individual, nor will not have. I feel he is causing most of our current problem on both ends. Let me further explain what I mean by that. Here's the deal. Right now, we are looking at a candidate who is currently up for 4 trials and possibly counting, with over 91 different charges for those 4 trials, okay? Several of those charges are felonies. Let us explain that in a normal American society, anybody that could possibly be convicted for 91 charges, whether they are guilty or not, we are not going to debate that at this point, more than likely is not going to get the type of job that gives you government clearance and gives you the ability to run the world, so to speak. Most of us would not qualify with that type of resume, okay? For some strange reason, in the minds of millions of my fellow Americans, they feel that he is more than capable of running the country despite all that. They feel that these charges are, quote unquote, and that justice will prevail and he will be cleared of all these charges. Now understand, problem one is that if he is indeed cleared of every last charge he has been charged of before that fateful November 5th, he is free and clear to run for president and possibly win again. And I like his chances more after that fact than not. Because in the minds of several of you, I feel like your thought process will be Teflon D is untouchable. If he can basically get past all of those things, he is more than capable of running the country and doing it on a level we have never seen. My concern, obviously, is that if he gets away with all of that, and becomes our president once again, who knows what he may possibly try to pull in order to get his way, get his revenge, hell, get to a point where we have to consider giving him more than a second term. Remember, once upon a dream, you could run for president more than 2 times. That is the only one of the three major offices, that being executive, legislative, and judicial, that currently has those type of term limits. Because of that, friends, I tell you, he is more dangerous with all of that being said than he ever would be now. If we allow our legal system to let him get away with all 91 of these charges. That being said, in the minds of many of you, none of that matters. He is your candidate no matter what. You are ride or die with him. You are misguided people. I want to call you the S word, but no, some of you are quite intelligent. You are far from illiterate or ignorant. It's just for some strange reason in your mind, in your recesses, you feel like this is the route to go, that he is the man without a doubt. Now, I'm going to try to dig into some of these people's thinking because it's rare where I get a chance to talk to, as my cousin would call them, a Trump pony. But when I do, usually one of these two subjects come into play that lead to the thought process. One, they like the fact that he is not a career politician, as many of our previous presidents to some degree were or related to. Understand, when Obama became president, he basically had about 10 to 12 years of office experience in terms of Senate and what have you, him being one of our younger presidents, mind you. Keep in mind that people such as Herbert Walker Bush did not have big time experience in politics. We can go back to Ronald Reagan, who basically had time as governor, but not much more beyond that. So all of them were not career politicians, but many of them were. And people feel that's part of the problem, that politics is a dirty game and Washington, D.C. is full of corrupt and what have you. And it takes a president who is not in that game, so to speak, to help clear the swamp, as y'all called it several years ago. Understand that individual was president for 4 years. How well did that really work for him? Do you think he did a good job of clearing the swamp? I think not. I think not. Because long story short, our country was way worse 4 years later than it was the 4 years before. And as you guys know, part of it was not completely his fault. Nobody foresaw that COVID-19 would come into play and basically wreak havoc, and understand that we are still to this day trying to recover from that. And that part of what's going on even now in the political cycle is the fault of COVID-19 and not current administration or previous administration for that matter. All that being said is that is problem one. You think of it that way. The other half of you who are Trumponians think of it as, okay, but he is a money person. He comes from money. He's made a lot of money. I want a president that helps me make money. Because the way my America is set up, some of y'all major thought process in life is the thought process of getting as much money as you possibly can. And anybody, any person, any entity that helps you do that is what you are looking for in terms of your leadership. Plain, simple, flat out. If you are making money during the time in which that person is in charge, more than likely you want that person to continue to be in charge. Understand, If COVID had not existed, the president that was previous definitely would have ran on the platform that, yeah, the economy is booming on my watch, without giving enough credit to the previous administration, the Obama administration, for starting that ball rolling in the first place. Even people that look like me do not give Obama, well, not all of y'all, but some of y'all do not give him enough credit for what he did and was able to do in office. There are a lot of things that he wanted to do that he could not do either. But there are greater forces at play with that. Understand that one of the biggest political issues right now is the right to life, because the previous president was allowed to pick 3 of the 9 Supreme Court justices, all of which felt right to life was more important than right to choose. And thusly, because of that, federally, it is not being withheld. It is left up to the states now, and several of the states are saying, nope, can't do it. There will be no abortions today here in this county, this state, what have you. That primarily happened because the president previous used his power to make it so. Several of you thought that once the current president came into play, he would use his power, along with having control of the House and the Senate for the 2 years that they did, to expand the Supreme Court and make it to where there was enough people chosen by he and the Democrats to compensate for those people picked in the previous administration. And for all we know, it could still happen if the current president ends up being president again. That part. Now, here's where things get interesting, tricky, stupid, whatever you want to call it. Right now, we are in a cycle where several Republican candidates are crisscrossing the country, but primarily in the 3 or 4 early voting states, to let people know I am here. You do not have to choose the current choices. You may choose one of us, particularly me, and this is why. To give you an idea of what those people were like and what they talked about, you obviously could have tuned into the first Republican debate that happened a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, Fox made that difficult for us to do, because unless you had Fox News, Fox Nation, a lot of you were not able to see the debate in its entirety. If you were fortunate enough to be learning enough about YouTube to find a channel that was broadcasting the debate like I did, then you were able to see it that way. That being said, y'all didn't miss nothing. You really didn't miss anything. And again, that is the real problem that we're having. These debates that we are having, they don't serve any great purpose, people. All we get are people coming on stage showing how loud and boisterous I could be, how demanding and how tough I can look on stage saying what I say, without really going into detail about anything that I truly plan on attempting to do. If you say you learn more than 2 minutes worth of what these people are about politically and what kind of president they are in that debate, I am stunned. I learned virtually nothing new. I learned about the people. I learned how some of them are quick-witted. Some of them had some snappy lines. Some of them definitely had the taglines all set up for their talks. But in terms of how good a president they may possibly be, I didn't really learn that from much of them at all. It's debatable who won the debate. I would say, if you're looking at it from a terms of argument and getting the attention, then Verswamy, the person, I believe he is Indian. Don't quote me on that. But he appeared to be the winner because he seemed to be the person to draw the most attention in the last debate. Understand that it did help him in terms of the polls to a slight degree, but he still is not ranked ahead of Mr. DeSantis, the governor of Florida, or the clown in the pose. Also, I would go as far to say that his overall talk within the debate kind of led me to believe he was more vying for a potential vice president bid more so than being president. Even Orange Clown himself commented on that the following day and his thoughts that he gave about how the debate went. Now, here's the thing, people. Orange Clown Pimp, he is not stupid. Once upon a time, I called him that often, but the more I see his work and how he is working this out, he is quite smart, or at least the people that are running his campaign are quite smart. If I am him, I'm not doing any of these other debates. I'm not showing up to none of them. It serves him no purpose. He is leading in some polls by 40, 45% over the next competition. He is getting money hand over foot. The darn mugshot, as we all know about. The Atlanta mugshot has earned him millions of dollars in less than 10 days. That money is more than what most of the people currently running against him on the Republican side have even come up with in total. He is well ahead of the game. Not to mention he's supposed to be worth billions. Very debatable as to how much money he actually has of his own. Another discussion for another day. But if he chose to incorporate that money into his campaign, he could as well. Now, here's the thing. If we're not really going to get deep into the issues as to what are our solutions, then what purpose do these debates actually serve outside of entertaining us with some argumentative stuff? I think it's just watching these debates is pretty much like watching one of those reunion shows for the housewives of Love and Hip Hop, okay? Straight up. It's the same type of foolishness, all things considered. So if you like that type of entertainment, then yeah, by all means, you'll be entertained by these debates. No doubt. You like to see people argue or whatnot. From that standpoint, it's fun. But in terms of what you have learned as to who you should vote for in 2024, I don't think you're going to learn much of that at all in these debates. So EB, Eba, Nighthawk, what's happening? You just said all this to say what? What should we do, brother? I tell you what, I have some solutions. First and foremost, I say the debates, get them. End them, boys. Stop having them. They are useless. We learn nothing. And most people that are put in charge to moderate these debates cannot control the room. Period. Okay? If we are going to still have the debates, bottom line, we need mute. Mute. In other words, mute button. So that when things start to get out of hand, get the microphones. All I want to hear from is the one person that's supposed to be talking. When that person's talking, you do this. That person talking, you do this. Maybe that way we can actually get somewhere in these conversations. If they're not going to do that, then debate's over, okay? How do we learn about the candidates then, E? Simple. As you know, they have been going through this rating system to figure out who qualifies for the debates. Once we figure that out, we're going to take however many candidates, perhaps break them up in 3s or 4s, or hell, if it's only about 4 or 5, do it individually. We get a room full of people, and I think those people should represent not only just that party, but the independents and the Democrats, or vice versa as well. You put them in an auditorium-style room. You give them some question cards and whatnot. You go through a random number system, picking a hat, and pick out the number. Then you allow those people to ask their questions in a town hall type form. You give each one of the candidates, whether it's just 1, 3, the opportunity to answer the question freely without being contradicted by anybody at that time. And then you base your opinion on the answers they are given, not on how well they could argue with the other people in the room, but on what they actually have to say. So if we ask a question like, okay, our economy is suffering, we are concerned about recession, what will your administration do in order to help resolve this issue? And at that point, we will either get actual answers to the question that make sense some type of way, or we will get the usual political rhetoric that will indicate to us that, yeah, this person is just running their gums. They're not really about no action. And that way we get to trim down the herd so that by the time we get to those first battleground states and the early voting, we are down to perhaps 2 or 3 people. And we figure out from there who we want as the representative on that side. Also, I think incumbent president or not, you should also be part of this process. Just like the president is going around and campaigning for another 4 terms, he should also have to be part of these debates. They should be these town halls. They should be non-negotiable. If you are running for the office, you should not only be a part, but you should also want to be a part of letting America know how you feel. I think you actually have an advantage as the president if you do so, because you can tell people in real time some of the things you are doing behind the scenes to make A, B, and C happen, and let them determine if you are doing things in a way that they are happy and comfortable with, or if they feel like you are incompetent and not getting the job properly done, and thusly consider some of the other candidates. And also that way, you kind of take some of the party politics out of it, because you can also do that with independent people as well. If they fit a criteria, how much money or where they poll or whatnot, allow them to have town halls either. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, you're one of the people on that other end that didn't qualify for whatever town hall. In this day and age of social media, you have more than enough opportunity to do just like I do every Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. Turn on said computer, get yourself a program and start yourself a podcast or a discussion live, what have you, and tell people how you think, what you feel. Go live on Instagram, Thread, whatever the case may be. Let them ask questions, and you can answer it town hall style, live on the air yourself. And then post that wherever you see fit that they will allow you to. And thusly, you have something to compare and contrast with the other candidate. Because at that point, when reporters interview you, like, okay, when you're a little TED talk, whatever, you mention this, this, and this, can you elaborate? And if you choose to do so, you will. If you choose not to, go to my website, blah, 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 and encourage people to go there. That's that half of the equation. I think we get a much better understanding of what we're working with if we deal with these things that way. Another thing, if I'm currently running for the office of president, let me give y'all some political strategy. Understand our country is going through it on many levels. The violence, the natural disasters, the economy, what have you. These things are reported in the national news on a daily basis. Wherever the problem is, that's where you should be. Florida had the hurricanes. You want to show the people that you care about them, you go down. You talk to the people, you find out what their needs are. If you have the political or the financial clout to help, you help. And you obviously use your social media and the news people to your advantage and show them that you are helping. Speak with the news media like, I'm down here because I'm concerned about the people of Florida. I want to see what I can do to help as president. These are the types of things I'm going to do. Wherever the problem is, you should be there. There's another school shooting tomorrow. Lord forbid, I hope not. But if so, sometime in that next 5 to 7 days, you should be there. Discussing your thoughts on gun reform, on helping out citizens, on what we should do to better schools, whatever the case may be. You should be in the house. If all that happens, you should be involved. If Oxford happens, you should be in Oxford. You should be where the action is. If there's a financial crisis, when the bank shut down again, you need to be on the scene sometime in the next 72 hours. I came to see what I can do to help out with this particular bank situation. Mass shooting, whatever the case may be. If there are major events anywhere across the country, for example, auto show, oftentimes the sitting president comes and checks out the auto show every year here in Detroit. You should be here at the auto show, particularly if there's going to be a strike, and more than likely it will be. Sorry, Mr. Biden, I do not agree with your opinion on that one. I think it's almost a done deal that it's going to be a strike. You should be here in Detroit talking about the unions, or if you side with the big three, talking about the big three and why you side with them. We should know your opinion on hand. Whatever is going on in this country that you think the vast majority of us will deem important, that's where you need to be. Not campaigning all the time in Iowa and New Hampshire, so on and so forth. Yeah, you're still going to hit those spots, obviously. But long and short of it is you need to be crisscrossing the country and showing your face in the place. Because if you do that enough times, I think you can definitely get the type of votes that you want to make this thing happen. If you want a way to beat the current president or the current leader on the Republican side, that is how you go about it. Get on that plane, that bus, that train, and go to where the action is and show them love. As much love as you can. That's how you help to get your vote for president. Second thing, obviously, have something pertinent to say. You know the major problem. They're pretty much the same problems we've been having for decades, for centuries even. We know that people of color have concern about reparations and whatnot. We know people, our Hispanic people, concerned about immigration and immigration status and what have you. You know, immigrants want a good means to start a fair life here in America. You know that people that are down south care about whatever southern issues is in terms of farming, what have you. You know, gun lobbyists care about guns, and water people care about water, and what have you. Whenever you go and do your speeches at that, you basically tailor your speeches to such. So you just need to expand that to be where you need to be and to talk about what you need to talk about and being able to talk about it in a way to where it makes sense, to where we have an understanding of how you really feel and feel like you actually give a smurf, okay? That is how you gain nomination and eventually gain the office of president or any other major political office for that matter. I say that same thing should apply if you're running for Senate in Michigan. Anytime there's problems in Michigan of note, you should be here. I don't know how many times I look up and it's an issue and one of the squad, as they are known, Miss Talib, is here in the city or here in Dearborn or Livonia, giving you her 2 cents on what's going on. That is how you show you give a darn. That's how you gain critical points with the people. You be amongst them, you show that you care about what they are concerned about. Because in essence, well, not even essence, in real life, that is your job, to represent your constituents. Period. End of story. And as the great Forrest Gump said, that's all I got to say about that. Now I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna end the show. Again, it's gonna be a short one tonight on another one of those subjects that I like to call "What We Doing, Y'all." What we doing, y'all? Cause yeah, this is pretty much for our young people. There's a trend that you guys got going, and I really don't understand. I need y'all to understand why I don't understand. Okay, that part there. We'll be back. This is the I Am Nighthawk Podcast. Haha.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comfort together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings. With Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
What up, y'all? We are back. This is the I Am Nighthawk Podcast. I am the Nighthawk himself. E-Buck, Eric B, Eric Buckner, the Black Slave Luthor. Keeping in mind that, yeah, we can't really claim that this week. We're going to let the growth come back. We'll have it together by tomorrow. Don't worry. We'll be back in Black Lex Luthor more in no time. In the meanwhile, before I continue, I definitely want to give a shout out to my girl, Road to Stardom. I was hoping she popped in today to let me properly acknowledge her, but Road to Stardom is definitely a follower of the program. She will definitely check in at some point. Do know, Road, that we are here to show that there are several ways to get in contact with you and be part of your show known as the Road to Stardom Radio. You can find her, like I said, on Instagram. You can find her there on Facebook. You can find her on Blog Talk Radio. You can find her on this thing that I found as what is that? Player FM, where you can find her show. I found her even there. She is on several platforms since she's been doing it 10 plus years. Another person that's been doing this for quite some time is our good buddy, the future mayor himself, Demetrius Dennis Taylor, also known as Big Meech. Hey. Mayor Meech checking in from the Donut Factory. What's going on, my brother? My brother. Good to see you here. Thank you for checking in. You are here in time for me to discuss my latest and a little segment I like to call, What Are We Doing? What is this here? Today, my topic is this. This is about something y'all been wearing that I feel does y'all a great disservice. And I would say this mainly to my younger people that look like me, okay? Because y'all the main people, if not the only people, that I see wear them. And like I said, I'm not sure if this is a Detroit thing or if this is an urban thing or whatnot. But I've seen a lot of you leave your house with these on your feet. These right here. Stank flops. You heard what I call them, stank flops. Why? Why, E-Buck? Why they gotta be stank flops? Cause look at them, people. You are wearing these open-toed shoes with these big furry deposits on them, okay? Today here in the city that is Detroit, it was 92 some odd degrees with a heat index somewhere close to 100. I was out there in it. Trust me, it was hot. Okay? It was hot. It was muggy. It was not friendly. In an ideal world, if I could have went out there buck bookie and been okay, I might have. But of course, we know that is not proper etiquette. That is also illegal to be out naked. in public. That is literally illegal. At least here in Michigan, illegal. That being said, I feel it should be equally illegal for y'all to leave the house every day. Every day. And these doggone stank flops. These things right here. My people. Understand when you put them stinking things on your feet, you are wearing them, and I've seen you wear them in all seasons, okay? Not just the summer. Some of y'all wear y'all stank flops in the fall, in the winter, in the spring. Many of you wear your stank flops in all types of weather conditions. In the rain. Yeah, I've seen some of y'all wear them in the rain. Or because y'all don't like to check news reports and weather reports, you get caught up in the rain. And I've seen you wear them in the dirt, outside, in the park. Most importantly, I've seen y'all wear them out in public and to work. Please explain to me, employers and employees alike, how do you work in these? These are not comfortable work shoes. They couldn't be. Me just checking in on this. Looking like Child of Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. And God forbid if they don't have pedicure and wearing an effing falling chef's hat that they are calling a bonnet. Now, I wasn't even going to go there today. That's probably going to be a discussion another day. But yeah, some of y'all look damn ridiculous. Okay? Y'all are wearing these stank flops through all things. Now, again, you can say, no, my flops is crispy. I got more than one pair, whatever the case may be. That being said, most of y'all, amazingly enough, do actually wear them with some type of socks or booties. But several of y'all wear them with nothing in, barefooted. And like me said, y'all ain't doing your toes and all that, so we can see your rusty, dusty crusties. And the way y'all wear the flops and walk in the flops, we often see the back of your feet when you don't have no shoes on. And yeah, more times than not, when I see some of them feet, they be dirty. So the only thing worse than a stank flop is a dirty stank flop, okay? Dirty. Now here's the thing. The main reason why I call them stank flops is because look at this. Look very carefully. You see how they are constructed? You see how I got the fur and basically the plastic or rubber type of shoe? I want y'all to be straight up with me. Straight up. Most of y'all that only pretty much got that one pair of stank flops. Yeah, I'm sure y'all washing your bodies and feet and everything. But how y'all caring for them shoes? Are y'all washing them stank flops? Seriously, are you washing the stank flops? Dirty, hot, sweaty, and with footprints. Exactly. I'm going to tell you the answer. About 90% of y'all ain't washing them damn stank flops. You ain't washing them at all. You couldn't be. How you going to wash them? Because most of y'all got the cheapest stank flops. And you know if you actually put them in somebody's wash machine and dry it, they're going to tear the hell up. You're going to have little fur pieces all over all the clothes, all up in the lint trap, all of that. Your moms ain't going to be happy. That's for those of y'all who actually do wash your own clothes. Because a lot of you young people, it seems like y'all don't even know how to wash your clothes. I mean, hell, a lot of y'all can't cook. It wouldn't surprise me a lot of y'all don't know how to do laundry. I've personally been doing my own laundry since I was 11 years old. That's 40 plus years, good people. And I promise you, I'm not wearing those stank flops. Now you're saying, well, these girl shoes, yeah. Now, of course, you know, in this day and age, people and not identifying whatnot, there are guys that wear them too, but there is also a guy equivalent as well. I call them the funk flops. So we got stank flops, the furry boy, and the funk flops, which is basically those same shoes without the fur on them that the guys be wearing. There are some girls that wear funk flops too. Now those funk flops, same issue, okay? Many of y'all you wear them with some type of sock, but some of y'all barefooted. Wear them everywhere. Wear them to work, wear them to school, wear them outside, wear them to the store with the nice ensemble that includes your stank flops, some shorts, very baggy, so when they hang down your buttocks, we see your buttocks. And some of y'all don't have no buttocks, ain't none of us trying to see your first. None of us. Nobody. And then for those of y'all that like to wear them with the whole pajamas ensemble with no underwear at all, some of y'all grannies and great grannies is rolling in their grave, seeing what y'all got going. Why, good people? Again, most of these trends that happen here in today's America, particularly amongst my people of color, are usually because you see some of your favorite peoples wearing the same type of stuff. So perhaps you've seen your girl Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, or sorry about that, y'all. Little technical difficulties. I said that might happen. It is raining, that's all. Like I said, you usually model yourself after your favorite rapper, athlete, whatnot. So if you've seen them in stank flops and funk flops, that's probably what caused you to get stank flops and funk flops. So if you basically was that kid in high school and the seniors was wearing funk flops and stank flops, you wanted to be cool, right? You wanted to fit in. You wanted to conform to the society that you are a part of. So you got you some funk flops and stank flops. Now again, I point out that I've only seen my people use this as a trend. Okay, once every blue moon, you might see a person that is not a person who's African American or black with some stank flops, but it is a rarity. For the most part, all the rest of them are wearing regular, normal type shoes, moccasins, something that's more street worthy, okay? The rest of you are wearing stank flops, flunk flops. Then, of course, there are some of you who go that one step further and wear your house shoes like these. Can you see that? And understand, yeah, that boy don't look clean, E, but keep in mind, it's my house shoe. I wear them around the house. I cook and stuff. That being said, after every 6 to 9 months, I throw these out and buy some others. They don't cost that much, just like many of these stank flops and funk flops don't cost that much. However, there are expensive funk flops and stank flops that y'all is paying hundreds of dollars for to put on your feet and not wash and wear them till you can't wear them no more. They no longer out of style, whatever the case may be. It makes literally no sense to me. That made me old, so be it. But that's what I'm looking at. And most importantly, the reason why I say y'all need to stop wearing these stank flops and flunk flops to this degree is because that is affecting your feet long term. Understand, if you are somebody on your feet 8, 10, 12 hours a day in stank flops and flunk flops, whether you are flat footed or whatever, over time, it's most definitely going to affect your feet. So that as you get older and your feet start to hurt and ache, you start to have foot issues with bone spurs and such, calluses and all that. Many of you will be looking at these moments where you wore the stank flops and funk flops and understand why your feet is jacked up. So I'm pretty sure the people in the walker industry and the good old orthopedic shoe industry and inserts and all that, they waiting on y'all. They are so happy y'all wearing them funk flops and stank flops right now because they know you will be their future customers. because your feet could very well be very jacked up in another 20, 30 years, and they're looking forward to outfitting you with some of their gear at that point. So today's front flops could be tomorrow's orthopedic shoes. Think about it. Bottom line is, okay, you trying to be cute or whatever. That's all right every now and then. If those are your daily fits for what you put on your feet, I think it's a bad dude. Not just a bad look, just a bad dude. I want you to think about it. And think about some of the other things I said this evening, y'all. And that's all I got for you this week on the I Am Nighthawk Podcast. Tune in tomorrow when we got Big Buck Sports Report, where we're going to be talking sports. We're going to give you our NFL preview. And I definitely got to talk about the biggest story in sports of the weekend. Those of you who keep up with sports, I'm pretty sure y'all know who and what I'll be talking about. If not, then tune in tomorrow about 9 p.m. We'll get into it. I Am Nighthawk Podcast will not be back next week. Gonna take a quick little break, work on some of the technicals. We will come back in a couple weeks, and hopefully, if I can get in contact with said individual, you know who you are, we will have a very special episode to talk about something near and dear to that person's heart that we have discussed, and hopefully we can finally get into it, my friend. I will be in contact with you about it. So I look forward to that show in a couple weeks. In the meanwhile, signing out. Thank you to my people who have tuned in this evening. And for those of you who will tune in after the fact, I also got to shout out my boy Hugh Lee. Please, 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 people, check out my brother's latest project known as The Guru's Perspective. You can find that on Spotify, where he talks about sports from his perspective and gives you an in-depth thought process as to what he is thinking about in terms of that. I think it's a good listen, and you basically can comment to him in his messenger about how you felt and whatnot. Please make sure you like and follow that on Spotify. He would appreciate that very much, and so would I. Until then, however, I will see you guys. Please be safe. Remember, it's still hot out there in lots of parts of the country. Please stay hydrated. Keep your actions outside minimal if you can. Be safe, and we will catch up with you in a couple weeks here on the I Am Nighthawk Pod Show. Until then, I'm going to have y'all check out the latest Buck Beat as we head on out the door. Let me know if you like it in the comments, okay? Can y'all do that for your brother? Look out for your millions of them, all right? Until then, good people, we is out.